Texas House Bill 43, which officially passed in June of last year, has been described by Plains cotton growers as the biggest investment in Texas agriculture in more than 4 decades. The bill has 4 tiers, and as News Channel 11's Dylan Villa tells us, we are now approaching a step that looks to stop potential problems for producers before they surface.
Implementing Texas House Bill 43 means making sure the priorities of agriculture producers are taken care of. That's why Tiers 1 and 2 of the bill focus on immediate assistance. AgLink was introduced in Tier 1 as a low-interest loan and grant program to help producers and businesses who have dealt with hardship the past few years. Tier 2, AgPro, focuses on getting producers, especially young ones, back on their feet and hopefully build on their operation. Cody Besson of Plains Cotton Growers says we're now in Tier 3, which focuses on the Agricultural Defense Program.
The goal is to provide a funding mechanism potentially for the Texas Animal Health Commission, as well as Texas AgriLife Research, AgriLife Extension, to help mitigate some of the pest thresholds that we have.
The cotton jacid, which has become a problem for Texas cotton, is a recent example of the harm a pest can have on crops. Another key reason for implementing this program is because of Texas's location, which creates some unique circumstances for producers.
We're a border state, so from a southern border, but also surrounding states. And so we have a lot of different products that are moving in and out of different regions.
The Texas Animal Health Commission, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and A&M AgriLife Research can now submit letters of intent to the Texas Department of Agriculture. Once approved, they'll be granted financial assistance to see just how much damage these outside forces are doing to crops. Cody adds this step of House Bill 43 is a crucial one because it affords those working in the fields the opportunity to focus on the task at hand and not something that could mess with their way of life.
Animal Health Commission, Texas AgriLife, they get to focus on the core research, whereas it allows the producer then to still be able to operate in a comfortable manner, knowing that there's someone working behind the scenes trying to address this issue and future issues, so they're not having to continually focus on, well, what am I going to do this year in order to combat this pest threshold.
Dylan Villa, KCBD, News Channel 11.